Hello, this is Liz. Welcome to my little urban homestead on Fabric Friday. That is the quilt so far. It isn't sewn together. I have just pinned it up to a sheet in front of my wardrobe. I did make, let me come over here. I did make these quarter square triangles out of the brown, and then I realised once I've made all 8 I hadn't got enough to finish the sides off. I hadn't got enough of the fabric, so I thought, oh, I'll make a couple of the squares green. So I did a green quarter square triangle, put it up in place of one of the brown ones, and thought I prefer that. So I redid them all in the green. But these will not go to waste because I will probably use them in the back. Oh, in another quilt. We'll see when I get to that stage. But now, to make them into like a square behind the patchwork blocks, I've got to make half square, not half square triangles, flying geese units, big flying geese units. I know that my blocks are 12.5 inches, so I need the dark green 12.5 inches. And half of that is 6.25. Well, once it's sewn together, half of that is 6, because these will be 12 finished. So I'll cut them at 6.5. So once we've got seam allowances there, I'll have a 6-inch, which is what that is. So it will match completely. I have cut squares 6.5 inches. It leaves me a little bit tight for my points, so I think I'm going to do them 6.75 inches and sew them on. But I'll show you now what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here, I've got these dark green squares as the main body of the flying geese, and I have cut now, I didn't on the first one that I made, but on these now I realise it should be 6.75 inch squares, but 6.75 inch by 6.5. So these I'm going to have to keep a check on, which is the 6.5 side and which is the 6.75. Right, so this I want to now draw a line diagonally. I wouldn't bother on smaller flying geese units, but with this being such a big one, I am marking a line on it. And then I'm going to go 1/2 inch from that line and mark another line. So I will take this to my sewing machine, put that on it and sew along the first line, and then I will sew along the second line, then cut them in 2 down the middle, leaving 1/4 inch seam allowance on each one, and I am left then with these half square triangles already done, 2 for each block. So that's what I'm doing. Figure out which one is the one that needs to go long ways. I'm doing this so I get a good point and my point isn't lost. Half an inch. There we are. And I'll sew them. I'll sew one side up first and then I'll come back to you. You can't really see well from this side, but on the back you can see where I've sewn along the two lines that I drew. So what I do now is basically 1/4 of an inch. I can't see too well with them glasses. Yeah, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and then cut it off, and that will give me a half square triangle already done. This one we just peel it back. You can take it to your iron and press it. I'm going not to do that at the moment. Get the other piece that you've drew a line on and do exactly the same on the other side. And that's what I'm going to do to these two pieces now. It's a miserable day outside. Right, these flying geese are what I'm doing at the moment. Showing you one side, 1/4 of an inch on my first line of stitching, and that'll give me my seam allowance, and a seam allowance for my bonus half square triangles, which I may be using in this quilt. We'll see. And that's all it is to it. I know there's a different way of doing it, which can be easier and not as wasteful, but it's not going to be wasteful because I will be using them. It's not as though I'm going to put them in the bin, because these will work out at about 5.5 inches. So I've already got several half square triangles, 5.5 inch half square triangles, just need trimming up. So that's a good thing. But I'll carry on making the rest of these and put them on the quilt. And add in, I also need 6-inch background colour, 6-inch squares. I need a rectangle 12.5 by 6.5, same as this green, but in the background. So it's 4 6.5-inch squares, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 no 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, because I put that on wrong. 6. I don't know. I'll count it up later. But that's the large flying geese. Bye.